So let's start with our first query now. We want to start with the word select, the keyword select. That is the first one that we want to use today. So how do we use select? Remember I said what we're going to be doing as analysts is to fetch data from our database. So to fetch your data from your database, we'll make use of the keyword select. So look at the query that is on my screen at the moment. I put select asterisk from dbo.nigerian_car_car prices. I will explain what that is in a moment. So let's start with the word select. The select is used for reading data from our database. So I'm starting with that keyword select. What do I want to read from my database? In this case, I put asterisk there. And that asterisk is saying all the columns in my table. Remember I said you have multiple tables in a database and it could be one table in a database. With the example we are using now, we have one table in our database. So the table in our database is the Nigerian car prices. That's just what we have in our database, and that's what we're going to be interacting with. So I'm saying all the columns available in this table, that is what I want to fetch from my database. That is why I put asterisk there. And I say from. If I use from, I am saying whatever comes after this word, this keyword from, is the table to get the data from. So I'm saying this particular table here, Nigerian car prices, that is the table where I want my query to take effect on. So I want all the columns in my table to be fetched. So I'm saying select all columns from my table. If I switch to my SQL Server Management Studio here, this is what I'm using for my own SQL. You can use your MySQL, different applications out there that you can use to query your database, but I'm using SQL's Server Management Studio. So if I come now, I'm still interacting with the same database and the same table in my database. So if I put select now and I say asterisk everything, then I put from where, what is my database name? My database name is the Nigerian car prices. So if I say select everything from this table, if I execute now, it's showing me all the 10 columns in my table, all the 10 columns, all the rows in my table, because I've not used any condition to select. I am saying just show me everything in my table. That is the first query that we've written now. Now we know we have 10 columns in our table, and we know the number of rows. We have 4,095 rows here. So we've successfully written our first, right? But let's take it further. I want to modify the query that we've written. Let's now say I don't want all the columns in that table. I want specific columns. I don't want to see all the 10 columns in that table. I want to see maybe 2 or 3 columns. We will replace the asterisk with the names of the columns that we want to fetch from our database. That is just the only difference here. If I switch back here now and I remove the asterisk and I look at the column that I have here, I have make column here, right? If I put comma there, maybe I want to see condition of the vehicle, and I also put comma, I want to see the price, and I write price here. You see, I've mentioned the 3 columns that I want to see when I execute this query. So if I execute this query now, look at it, I now have 3 columns, not 10 columns again, just 3 columns that I ask my query to fetch from my database.